say that for the podcast.
Have you ever been asked by somebody, like, do you know this person on Instagram? And then, like, you follow them, but, like, you don't know them? Like,
Yes.
how do you answer that?
I'm not remembering everyone's, like, screen names
No.
on Instagram.
But, like, why I follow someone has nothing to do with whether I know them. Right?
Yeah, I think the Gen Z in me just says, nah, I don't really know him like that.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
And just leave it at that.
I'm going to practice that one. Nah, I know him like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, I don't really know him like that. Yeah.
We ain't tight. Yeah.
Bro, funny.
Yeah.
Bro, funny, but we ain't tight.
We ain't tight. Okay. I need a notepad to write all this stuff down, you guys. I'm going to learn so much from you today.
You want a notepad?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but what do you guys do for your lives besides this?
I sell cars.
Shut up.
Yes. And I drive back and forth across the causeway a bunch. That's most of my existence.
Okay, so do you live on the other side?
Yes.
And you sell cars on the other side?
I sell cars on this side
on
in
this
Kenner.
side in Kenner. For what dealership? I've heard of that one.
Yes, on Veterans in Kenner.
Hell yeah. So are you good at selling cars?
I'm getting better.
Okay.
I'm getting better. I had a really good first month, and I think a lot of people do. And then you kind of get confident, and you fall off like how they taught you to do, and you kind of start trying to do it your own way, and then you get lost some, and then you don't make that much money for a month or two, and then you're like, I got to change something up. So you go back to the basics, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. But yeah, it's getting better. Also, I think people aren't quite as poor this time of year. I think at the beginning of the year, a lot of people don't have a lot of down payment.
Sure.
And banks are requiring quite a nice amount of down payment nowadays.
I see. And so, okay, but if a person's coming in to buy a car, you know that they already do want to buy a car for the most part, right?
It depends. It depends. What you're taught to assume the sale.
Right.
So you go through everything. Like at the end of it, they're going to sign a check, give it to you, sign all the contracts, and take the car. That's how you work it every time, and you do it with those expectations, and you try to earn wins or yeses from them throughout the whole thing. So that way, by the time it comes down to, damn, this looks expensive, but you said you needed this for your family and your car, you would like that, that would be something good for you. Like, remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember how awesome this car works for you? It's going to make your life so much easier. Mm-hmm. And then they either say, yeah, you're bullshit, or yeah, you're right, and they circle and sign is what we say. They circle their estimated monthly payment that they would be comfortable with paying, and then they sign at the bottom, and that's when we start all the paperwork, and then take them in there to ruin their financial status.
Okay, look, because what I'm thinking is like if someone comes in, they're like, I want to spend, like if it's me, I want to spend $3,000 on a car. You'd be like, I'm gonna get you to spend 10. Like
you want a $3,000 car?
Yeah, or like that's what I can afford. But you're just like, I could show her $3,000, but I'm gonna try to sell her a $10,000 car.
Yeah, well, you definitely want to put out the options, but also you want to select a vehicle. Buyers want to feel like they're winning something, especially something so expensive as a car. They want to get wins. So you kind of guide them in the directions where they're not going to get turned down. So you try to show them how great maybe a car more in their budget is. And if they don't have like a huge budget, like in this instance, maybe you try to convince them, like, hey, maybe you do have to spend the $10,000 this time, but what this is going to do, you finance in this vehicle, it's going to help build your credit, and you're not going to need as much money because the bank's going to loan it to you. You just have to pay every month.
So you're getting in the game when you buy a car like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your options on a Chevy lot if you want a $3,000 car?
A Mustang?
We
get a Mustang?
We have nothing for $3,000.
Yeah.
Anything that's like that bad, we send it to the auction. Like if we get a trade in, like the other day, a lady it was yesterday actually, brought her car in, got an appraisal done, and they told her that her car was worth $165.
She drove it there?
Yeah, she drove it there.
Hell yes.
Dude.
That's just how it works. Like
Yeah.
they and that's not like scooping anything or anything. Like, you know what I mean? There was just like some damage to it. It was an old car, a lot of miles, and it just wasn't worth that much on the Kelly Blue Book.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a clean 800 on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, cut the roof off and make it a four-wheeler or something, dude.
Yeah, right?
Do something fun with it.
Give it some novelty value.
Do anarchy in it.
My
Take-
first car was a Jeep Cherokee. It was like an 88 Jeep Cherokee.
Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah. It was red. And yeah, I pimped that shit out. This was 2001 with Hawaiian print seat covers and Hawaiian print
Yeah.
steering wheel
Yeah.
cover and a bouncy Hawaiian lady hanging in the thing. I thought it was so fucking cool. It was all my graduation money, $3,500.
Yeah.
I was supposed to use that for college, and I just went paid cash for this Jeep Cherokee, drove it home, and then never changed the oil and blew the fucking gasket.
Fuck yeah. That's what you do. Were you bumping hella curves? Hella
yeah.
curbs? Riding on the sidewalk for a little bit?
I mean, I was driving to work, putting on my makeup, smoking a bowl at the same time, and steering this fucking car like such a badass.
menace on
yeah.
the road. Where was
Yeah.
this?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah. The suburbs of Detroit, you know.
Oh,
Super
hell
Oh,
yeah.
you're from the mean streets of Detroit?
Well, no. I'm from a hick town.
Okay.
It's like 45 minutes away. But, you know, you get close enough, you basically feel like you're 8 Mile. I mean, when that movie came out, we were all just like, oh, yeah, we're 8 Mile too. Like, no,
You're
you're
not-
2,000 people in your town.
You're
and
45 Mile.
There are 3 last names. Like, no, yeah.
Were you ever involved in burning down a house?
Not burning one down. That seems intense, but like TPing for sure. TPing houses.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys do that?
We TP'd.
Okay.
We TP'd.
My senior prank, me and my buddies, we TP'd the whole high school. We got like 3/4 of the way, and a teacher that was inside doing math equations. He was a math teacher. He was probably like right at 30 years old, and he was in there like, because we saw his light on when we got there, so we boosted our buddy up there to look through the window, see what was going on in there.
What, he was just doing math equations by
He was-
himself?
He was about to
listening to dubstep music, and
Shut-
he was hitting a dab pin.
Dude, he was about to make a big breakthrough in gravity.
Yeah, and he was just doing math equations. And so we were like, all right, he's occupied. Let's get this going. So we start at like the far corner by like the football field house. And we make it all the way up through the commons. And then he comes out and he's like, hey, y'all stop right there. And we all had on like bandanas and shit across our face.
Feeling so cool.
Yeah, which could have been bad, but also it wasn't that bad. It bought us about a day with getting caught because so Sunday they don't figure it out, and the librarian, he actually decided, I'm going to take it upon myself to start cleaning some of this stuff up. And we have these breezeways like covers, and they're cement board, and they're like 16 feet up in the air, and he was walking on them getting the toilet paper off in the spaces where there was no beams, and he fell through.
Shut up!
And he shattered his pelvis and his elbow.
Trying to be a hero.
And
Yes.
You did
Sad.
that to him.
so that was the talk that we got. And that's what really made our circumstances, our punishment, more severe. They were strongly considering us to not graduate at all, to like not walk at our graduation. But we ended up serving the rest of the Saturday detentions that they had in place for us. And also the week, you know how you get out of school like a week before graduation? We had to be at school every day for that. And we were doing like throwing away old textbooks. We set up for our own awards night and graduation, like set up all the chairs and the stage and everything like that. But the whole time, it was like it was the easiest punishment possible because it's literally us, the guys who had the idea to all go up to the school together with toilet paper. And we just having free range of the school and like all the cool places we never got to go, like in the attic and shit.
Yeah, they punished you with a Breakfast Club type situation.
Yeah. We were like sneaking off campus or like walking down to the football practice field and like smoking cigarettes and blunts. And one day we were setting up the graduation and my friends started just drinking tequila. They were just shooting tequila. It was like 105 outside. And we were working. It was insane.
Wait, okay, but like, were you guys like athletes or like?
Yes.
Okay, exactly. I know it because in my town, at my school, we all got in trouble for shooting spit wads at the bus driver. All of us did. All of us did, and the girls had to go sit in the detention and copy the encyclopedia, and the boys, who were all wrestlers, just got to go play in the gym all day.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that is so not fair.
They made the girls do girl things and the boys do boy things.
Exactly. And we had this pro football player at our school that was like gonna go to like the Vikings or something. He was so dumb. He couldn't pass his classes. And he was a senior and I was a freshman, and they asked me if I would take his geometry test for him just because they needed to get him out the door. He had like 5 gym classes and like English, and then he like had to pass 1 math class, and it was freshman geometry, and it was like, oh, they're doing anything for this kid.
Yeah.
Just to like
To
get
graduate?
him. Yeah, and so then he goes, I hope he's not listening to this. He goes to the Vikings. He becomes like he catches it when they kick it, you know?
Yeah, he's a returner.
Yeah, and then he's like making it, and then he gets this girlfriend who worked at Best Buy, and he got her to steal him a TV, even though he had all this money from the pros.
Whoa.
And so then he got caught, and so then he got kicked out of the NFL for having a stolen TV from Best Buy. They walked in on him in his house, and he was watching
The
himself on the TV that he had her steal. And like
That's
that's what he made
crazy.
into ESPN magazine for. And it was like, yeah, well, this is what we did. This
He blew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
good
gave
stuff.
him that chance and he blew it. That's
It's like, guys.
He's a sociopath, it seems.
Yeah.
He was watching himself on a stolen TV.
you know, you said you hope he's not watching this, but he does sound exactly like the kind of people who watch our podcast.
Yeah, I want to know, like, who are your fans? Like, what are they like?
Degenerates.
Okay.
Yeah, I know some of my friends watch it, but they don't watch it as often as they say to me, I think. But I don't know who really watches this every week. At least 18 to 19 people watch it
That's pretty good.
Every week.
every week.
That's pretty good.
And I'm assuming they're the same people, but I mean, we have had comments that tell us to keep going,
Yeah.
so
People
we do.
have to, like, fall in love with you as a person, and then they're, like, hooked. They're like, I want to see everything that they do.
Yeah.
That's the key, I feel like, is you
Yeah.
have to hook them with you.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
when me and Cam started the podcast, we didn't really know each other at all.
Yeah.
So at first we were kind of just like getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, I mean, we'll do a podcast at 1 a.m. Like last week, I got drunk. We did Edward 40 Hands, and then like Cam made my bed for me so that way I could sleep in the other room.
Edward 40 Hands?
Yeah.
Which is...
Where you tape 40s to your hands and you have to drink both of them before you can take them off.
We have some highlight clips from that one that will.
Yeah. I feel like that would be easy at this time of year because when it's so hot, like, you just want to keep drinking. Like,
Yeah.
You just
don't
need
wanna
some
stop.
liquid in your body
Yeah.
to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made sure not to eat a bunch beforehand,
Yeah.
but in the middle of it, I did have to get a slice of pizza
Yeah.
because I could tell after the first like 1 1/4, I was like, okay, I'm already real drunk.
Yeah.
So I went over there, no hands, got myself a piece of pizza.
How many cans is 240s?
About 9.
Nine cans of beer.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And was it what brand?
We used Bud Light,
Okay.
but so there was only 5 Bud Light 40s at the store that I went to, and there was 3 of us doing it. It was me, Cam, and Ben. So I took the hit, and I was like, you know what? Since I was getting them and I couldn't find another Bud Light one, I'll do the Budweiser. So one of mine was Budweiser.
Oh.
Bud Light.
Okay. Did you drink that one first or second?
I did drink the Budweiser first. I figured
Yeah.
when I was later on, I would prefer to be drinking something less filling.
Yeah.
You did have a slow start and really like sped up towards the end once
It's
you
like
started that
eating
second
a
beer.
Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah.
Every drink you take of a Budweiser. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, when I was in high school, I used to drink like the 24 pack of bottles of Budweiser. It was nothing for me to like drink most of those on
In
a
high
Saturday
school?
night. Yeah.
So when did you start drinking?
I would say the first time I got drunk, I was probably 13. Or I just turned 13. It was Tito's Vodka and Coke
Hell yes.
at the Washington Parish Free Fair.
Okay.
And then several more times I stole, me and my buddies, when they would stay the night, we'd steal some of the moonshine that my dad had bought.
Okay.
But we wouldn't really drink any of the actual moonshine. A lot of it had fruit in it. It was
Oh.
like strawberry moonshine or apple cinnamon. And we were taking the fruit out of it and eating that to get drunk.
Mm-hmm.
But it tasted like straight shit.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just
You gotta-
alcohol. Because
gotta chew on it.
where every piece of water would be in fruit, that is now pure alcohol, just
Yeah.
moonshine. It tastes like you were eating cotton swabs
Yeah.
and just fucking rubbing alcohol. It was terrible.
Have you had the Everclear soaked cherries on Bourbon Street?
No,
No.
I don't buy anything too crazy on Bourbon Street.
Speaking of rubbing alcohol, I've accidentally drank rubbing alcohol.
Accidentally.
Accidentally drank rubbing alcohol.
Okay, that's 3
I was,
shooter references.
I was
Damn.
16, 17 years old, hammered on Malibu
Okay.
because that's what we were getting at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the girls in our circle was dating an older gentleman, and that's what he would buy for
How
her.
old are we talking?
He's 21.
Gentleman.
When you're 17, a 21-year-old is a gentleman to you.
Yeah. He was a certified lover boy.
Yeah. So we were in the back of my friend Jake's car, and I'm hammered. And I'm like, I need water. And I brought a water bottle into this car, and I dropped it on the ground at some point because I'm hammered. And I'm rummaging around in the back for a water, and I see one. It's in the cup holder. And I just assumed this one's mine. Maybe it fell into the cup holder. I'm not thinking. I'm drunk. And I down it back. It's just straight isopropyl alcohol.
Why?
Drank
it
it like
there?
it was water, son.
It was there. I did take a big glug of it like it was water. It was there because my friend Jake has diabetes. And
What?
he has an insulin pump on his arm. So he would use that bottle to clean his insulin injector port.
Oh, you know what?
So I put my mouth all over that injector port, baby. I slurped out his juice, dude.
Ew.
God.
It's all scabby.
See, this is what
Diabetes scabs. Those aren't very well structured either.
I immediately opened the door and got out and threw up.
good.
Threw up in the bushes. I turned around and it was a different car because the line of Taco Bell had moved up. So I got completely disoriented. And my friends had to open the door and get me.
You get in the wrong car and you grab another water bottle and it's also isopropyl.
I almost did. I saw a scared Spanish woman looking at me.
Yeah.
And that's what really snapped me back to reality.
Dude,
Oh God.
did it dry you up? I feel like it feels like it's
Oh.
drying you up.
Yeah, I felt like I was in a desert. I had the worst cotton mouth of my life after that.
I don't know if you've ever seen the video of the guy that drank it on purpose. He was like, I can
Oof.
drink rubbing alcohol. And he drank a bunch and he goes like, he's like doing that for the rest of the video and then it
That's
just cuts off.
awful. Did you play any drinking games like that?
Like chugging isopropyl? No.
It's a
Okay.
classic game.
In college, you did Power Hour. That's stupid. So
Yeah.
you drink a beer every minute for an hour.
Drink a beer?
Drink of a beer.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
So that kind of
full-
sounds like
Yeah.
the game that I saw when I was looking up the Edward Forty Hand stuff. It's a popular game called Century.
Okay.
And you take a 1 ounce shot of beer on the minute every minute for 100
100
minutes.
minutes, yeah. Okay, so St. Patrick's Day in in Michigan in the outskirts of Detroit was a really big deal. And this was in the early 2000s, where there was a bar called the Nickel. And starting St. Patrick's Day at 5 a.m, a pitcher of beer was a nickel. And it,
Whoa.
Sick.
and
Glory
it went up
days.
5 cents every hour. And the goal was to just like last as long as you could.
Whoa.
And these pitchers of beer. And so we were doing those like a drink a minute. So we're like, we have to kill 12 hours. Like, how are we going to do this? Make games of it. But I'm like, when people get like really into drinking, I'm like, how can you blame us? Like, tell me something that's more fun than that.
Yeah,
like
it's
a bunch of fucking drunken idiots standing around picnic tables under a tent with like a shitty Irish band playing for all the beer
12
you can
hours?
drink
It's
for
classic.
a nickel. There's nothing better than that.
It's classic Americana.
It really is.
That's really what it is.
And you're all united in this like goal to like
Yeah.
not die,
Yeah.
not be the first one to tap out.
That's a classic team building
It
exercise.
truly is.
Yeah, dude, last night I got to live some Americana that I've been kind of craving. I went to my friend Austin's house. My brother Major was over there too, and a couple more people came out, and we just sat on his back porch. We played some cornhole, listened to music. We had some food. They had cooked some chicken, some really good chicken. There was cheese there, so I was a happy boy. It was Greer.
Yeah.
Uh,
Some Greer.
Great. How do you pronounce that? Is it Greer?
I
Gray?
guess so. I've only seen it spelled.
Whatever it is, it's delicious. Not quite as good as the Merlot. That Merlot cheese that I brought the other day, I'm gonna have to go get myself
That's-
some more of that. That was dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, love it so
Cheese
much.
is cheese actually like the harsher it is as far as like, those crystals and like when it makes like your eyes water a little, like
Yeah.
that has the same dopamine releases that heroin has.
Really?
So like you can get really fucking
Yeah.
I believe it. It's all about those terpenes.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Cheese Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah. man.
Hey. On
Well,
that,
when you talk about like new car salesman, right? We don't say used.
We do both.
Okay.
So yeah, we have a used car lot and a new car lot, and I'm authorized to sell off of both.
Well, when I was like in college, my boyfriend and I at the time, we would get really high on heroin and we would go to car dealerships and we would just sit in the cars and just like daydream about like buying this car and like promising that like tomorrow we were going to get sober and we were going to save our money and like buy this like Jetta or something,
Mm-hmm.
It never happened.
that sounds like something out of a folk
happened. I know. But I'm like, it reminded me, I'm like, we actually believed ourselves.
song. Tracy Chapman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to run you guys off. Say, hey, get out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
You're daydreaming.
Yes.
One time, a homeless person took a shit in one of our cars.
Oh
one of our
my
used
God.
cars. It got left unlocked overnight, and they came back. They were showing it to a customer, and they opened the door, and there was just a shit in the back seat.
Oh.
And someone had sat in there. There's been people leave
Oh,
needles in
no.
the used cars
Yep.
before. Yeah.
No.
There's
That was-
we had a guy pass away behind our overflow lot across the street, right next to a bowling alley.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was dead on arrival for the ambulance. He had
Shit's-
him some fentanyl, I think.
Shit's gone harder now.
Yeah.
You can't just do heroin and have fun in a car parking lot anymore.
Yeah. Well, they all hang out back there, kind of, because there's some shade. Like in Kenner, especially on Veterans, there's no shade anywhere. But they can find a little spot back here where the sun doesn't quite get to it. So they kind of sit back there. And, the guy over there that's in charge of that lot, he tries to kind of be like, hey, guys, y'all can't be over here, because he doesn't want people dying on the car lot,
Yeah.
because then he has to deal with it.
The other day I went to the gas station by my house and there were no less than 3 people sleeping using the bollards that's like end parking spots,
Yeah.
using those as pillows. And they were spread out too. I don't think they knew each other.
Yeah.
They
That-
know of each other.
That gas station's a hotbed for that kind of activity.
It is.
You can buy a lot of things at that gas station. That's all I've got to say.
Okay,
A
but
lot.
what do you think about this idea that we choose when to come into our 3D experience, and we also choose when and how we're gonna leave? That like someone just like, I don't know what's gonna happen in my life, but I just know I'm gonna die behind a bowling alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Like,
it's like, why would you choose to do that? Like, to leave it to somebody else to have to clean up, but like animals do that. They just find
find a
a
spot and they
sweet
die.
spot to die.
Yeah.
And they do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, it's our dog that we had for a while. Her name was Syria, and she like went to every room in the house and then went to the one that she used to sit in all the time and just died right there.
Yeah. That's best case scenario though.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's how a lot of them do it, especially if they die of like old age or
Yeah.
cancer or something. They like can tell, so they
Yeah.
just start like walking around the whole house. And she was a big dog too. Like, I loved having that big of a dog as a Cane Corso, but like the whole like afterwards, like picking up 110-pound dog and stuff, like that's. I mean, obviously it's sad or whatever, but that's just such a pain in the ass.
That's so sad. Did it void
To
its
be-
bowels?
To be sad and out of breath.
Yeah.
Your back hurts.
Oh yeah.
But maybe the lesson is like in that moment, you're just like, this is absolutely the worst thing. And even talking about it, the memory is this is a horrible thing. But then like when you die and like you experience all of everything all at the same time, you're just like, oh, picking up a giant dead dog was nothing.
Yeah.
Like, this is infinity.
Do you think that person that died behind that bowling alley is like swirling through the eternal consciousness right now, being like, I nailed it.
Yeah.
I nailed it. I did it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did all that heroin. That shit was awesome.
Yeah, right? Because, is that it for you? Or, like, do we come back and do this a zillion times? Like, I kind of think that we come back. I feel like, okay, you know how I think this? Child, prodigy, musician people.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about Instagram, you see this 7-year-old that's, like, a fucking DJ and, like, remixes and, like, or a 3-year-old sits down at the like, how, excuse me, are you able to do that if you haven't done something like this fucking before?
What amazes me like that is toddlers who are able to order food for themselves at restaurants. Like, how are you doing that? How do you know that you want chicken nuggets?
Yeah.
I'll have that medium, sir.
Scrambled.
Yeah. Also, the people that have like a head injury and then they wake up like speaking a different language
Yeah.
or have a different accent. That's pretty crazy too.
Yeah. Their mind
Like,
tapped into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, knowing the whole language like that, your mind taps into something that's I've always thought that, so like if reincarnation is a thing, I do believe I'm the first version of myself.
Hell no. No.
I don't feel like I have
No.
any past life.
I've
I
been
feel
told
like,
that before.
I feel like I'm the
No.
original one.
I've been
No,
told my soul is.
Come on.
You're the first and the best.
No.
You're the original model.
Yeah.
No. It's impossible at this point. I don't think if there's anyone new coming for the first time, I think that they are part alien and it's going to show up through autism, and like more children born now are going to be autistic because it's the alien part. I mean, I don't know.
So
Hear
you're
that,
saying,
RFK Jr.? It's not vaccines. It's aliens.
It's alien.
so you're saying that people who are like autistic or have Down syndrome are on a lower level of samsara, and
I don't think Down syndrome. I think that is chromosomal. But the spectrum-y autism, I think, it's not full. It's not like full human with like guilt and pity. It's like those emotions are like removed. You know, like the more autistic people, it's like they don't pick up on social cues. They're not feeling like self-conscious. They don't have that. And I feel like that's like, I don't know, other alien species coming through and trying this out.
Yeah.
Also, do you think that people who died from COVID just were transported to another realm?
I think how you die determines what your afterlife is like for sure.
And like, did it happen to you where the people who were the most fearful and obsessive thoughts and like wanting to control the exterior world were the ones that suffered from it? Because that was my experience. The people who paid more attention to it and wanted to control people around them were the ones that got it. I don't know anyone that died from it, but definitely the people that got it. And I was just like, you were asking for it.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk about it or think about it, and I never got it.
I think a lot of people died from the way that they were treating it in hospitals with the respirators. My grandfather went into the hospital. He walked into the hospital. He had COVID, but he was an overweight man with diabetes, previous heart attacks and stuff. So he went to the hospital. And then it was like, oh, it's getting worse. They're putting him on the ventilator. Like, they're going to have to, put him to sleep, put him on the ventilator. And then he died in there because they put him on the ventilator. You come to find out that's what
The ventilator
killed
spreads
everybody.
the COVID around in your lungs.
Okay, that was like early on.
That was like, yeah, I would say it was like, yeah, we weren't like a free world again yet.
Right.
You were still 6 feet in a mask. The
So-
vaccine had came out, though, I think.
So I think that my experience from people getting it was like after the big scary wave of it, where it was like, yeah, people were going into hospitals, not making it out. It was like when it just became about like telling other people like how to be, I was like, this is a really interesting human experiment. It's like, how much can we just like let ourselves be, and how much are we going to focus on everyone else? Because like, guess what, that's impossible. That's like
Yeah.
controlling what everyone thinks about you. You can't. You have to let it go.
Yeah, my job over COVID was I worked on a movie as I was on COVID team. They created a new department to deal with COVID. So it's people who are, they make the entire crew line up, nose swab them all.
Cam was working with Fauci.
Yeah.
He was an elite squadron of scientists.
Yeah.
To figure out.
I was part of the SEAL Team 6 for Hollywood. But my job was basically to go into the construction department and just remind them to wear a mask every hour on the hour. I'd be like, hey, put your mask back on. Hey, put your mask back on.
The worst job ever.
And I don't even give a fuck. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to tell anyone else what to do, but I'm like, hey, you got to put your mask back on.
Look, dude, they're paying me
they hated me over
$17.50 an
there.
hour. You got to put your mask
No
on.
shit.
Yeah. $16 an hour, dude. That job.
Was the show worth it? Like,
Monetarily, yes.
yeah.
Experience-wise, I don't think I got much out of it.
But like the show's success, was it worth like putting people through that?
I haven't heard much about it since it came out.
Really?
I think it got like a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that didn't mean anything, though.
Yeah, it doesn't mean nothing.
That
it's all
could
about
mean
what the
that
fans
it's
like.
awesome.
Could mean that it's sick. It had Cole Sprouse in it.
Nice.
He played a Frankenstein monster.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know the
Yeah.
Lisa Frankenstein?
Yes.
You've seen it?
I saw the preview for it, and I seriously considered watching it.
Hey, look at that. Maybe
That was filmed here?
that was filmed here.
Wow.
Almost entirely on a soundstage in Marrero.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
the
you guys
West Bank.
know that the Spinal Tap sequel was filmed here recently?
I heard about that. There's been some murmurs.
Do you guys know, have you seen Spinal Tap?
No.
I've seen Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
I think you would really love it.
I think Crockett would love Spinal
I
Tap.
think you would.
What's it about?
It's about the greatest metal band in the world.
It's like a spoof
It's
on like a rock and roll biography documentary.
Okay.
And for me, having an improv background, I think most of it they improv and
Yeah, a lot of it is.
it's like it's not scripted. It's like there's probably like a framework for it, but the characters are just
Oh, I know these guys for sure.
yeah.
They're Saturday Night Live guys.
Yeah, they are.
Well, no.
Or not Saturday Night Live, but they're in with Sandler's crew, kind of.
This is no.
It's not the same guys from Grandma's Boy.
No, I
No.
think these guys
Anything like
are.
that?
No. This group of people are from Christopher Guest's movies. And so that includes the dog movie, right? Best in Show, where it's like a documentary.
yeah.
It's all those people. These are Canadian
Home for-
improv people. It's the parents from Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's,
really?
What's the one with my dad loves those movies.
Yeah.
Home for Purim is the movie that they're making, but it's it's their movie. They're making a movie and they're all getting
Oh.
awards.
Is it the same guys? Because I'm sure they're old as fuck now.
Oh, yeah, it is. And so they are super old. And this was 40 years ago. So, they came back to New Orleans. they filmed this at Tammy's brother's recording studio.
That's where I heard about it.
And then they did their big concert at Lakefront Arena, and like the Evers and everybody, like they were all extras at the concert.
That's so cool.
But what's so funny is that their whole thing is that they're just kind of like, I mean, the songs are so overtly sexual, and they're just like oozing sexual, but they're like super nerds, you know. And
yeah.
they grow up, whatever. I don't know what like the plot of the second one is. But what's so funny was like they were supposed to record at his studio, which is in Bywater, like Marigny Street. And they set it up for Ash Wednesday.
When
And
there's
they
parades
didn't
outside.
know that it was Mardi Gras the day before.
Oh, yeah.
And they were going to drive their huge semis with all their equipment down Marigny
that's hell.
Street. And they had no idea that it was Fat Tuesday. And so her brother had to go deal with this. You know, they hadn't gotten permits, whatever. And I'm like, this should be the movie. Like, the Spinal Tap guys trying to make their way through Mardi Gras
And they
with
just
their
don't-
instruments.
Yeah.
And nobody knows that it's really Spinal Tap because everyone's in costume. And, like, they're just, like, totally confused. I'm like, roll film.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
That's the movie. Oh, my
That's
God.
sick.
I'm so thrilled that they came back to do this. Like,
Shame on who's the director? Shame on him.
Shame on him. Director.
I mean,
Crockett,
Parker Posey's.
do you
Yeah,
want
Rob
to reel us up?
Reiner.
Yeah, I can. I can direct us.
Yep, Rob Reiner, the first one.
Yeah.
I have a VPN that's in the Netherlands right now, so you might get a lot of Netherlander responses.
Netherlander.
You can turn that off.
I do. Yeah.
I've got a VPN that's in the Netherlands right now.
What does that mean?
He's using a server that isn't traceable to his location to be on the internet. A
Why?
VPN.
Oh, it's fun.
It's good because like people could like track what you're searching on the internet and stuff, and then a lot of data harboring and stuff. People recommend you use a VPN.
Yeah.
Becoming more
You can
like-
get your information stolen.
Because it's like, you know, they want people to say, I want you to pay for my data. Because everyone's just taking all your data and selling to you.
Okay.
And they don't even know if they can't just like harbor all that data.
It's all about data these days. The economy is data.
like, you
It's
know what?
ones and zeros.
Just take mine.
They're
Who
gonna
gives a shit?
They're gonna see
Yeah.
what
It's not
if you don't have a
interesting.
VPN. They're gonna see what porn you're watching. That's
Huh.
that's kind of like the basis for that porn joke I was thinking about. That like because they were talking about VPNs on Joe Rogan. And they were like they can see everything that you're doing. And I was like, damn, they can see like your truth, your search history.
Yeah, they see
They know
into your
exactly what you're
deepest
doing.
parts of your soul.
Yeah, but you're definitely not the strangest porn person out there. So
No, for sure. I'm not the strangest.
they're
but
probably like,
The strangest ones can't really blend in. They're not daywalkers.
yeah, some people
Yeah.
might be
They're not
more
really blending in.
strange than they want people to know, though.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a issue for some people.
Not everyone's able to hide their strange.
So I went to the swingers convention last weekend, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically like live porn in a hotel because
Nice.
it's all just like orgy rooms, you know.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like fucking each other, you know. And it's like trying to do comedy in a setting like that is like the
Did
worst
you just comedy
idea.
there?
Tried. It's the worst idea. It's the worst idea because what these people are actually doing is
It's
like
so much better than comedy.
it's like what are we gonna make a joke of? It's like these people are just like literally will do anything. What
Yeah.
could possibly be funny? It's not funny.
Yeah.
Like
they're-
we're doing it
do you-
actually. You guys are just talking about it because you're scared of it. It's like fuck. You're right.
just a fully clothed comedian
Yeah.
on stage
Yeah.
in a room full of.
I wore one of those T-shirts with the lingerie spray painted on it because Nature Boy's like, you know, just you don't have to wear anything. You know, I'm like, I'm definitely wearing clothes at this. Then he's trying to get me to. I
Nature
hope
Boy
he's
just
not
wanted to
watching
sneak a
this.
peek.
I love him, but like he was like, if he's like, you can take your clothes off and put them in this bag, and I'll carry the bag around so you know you have your clothes still, but you don't want to be wearing, because you're really not supposed to be wearing clothes there. If you're gonna go in the orgy rooms, you're really not supposed to be wearing clothes. In fact, like they make you take them off, like.
Damn, it's like,
Before
what's
you
wrong
go
with your
up
dick
there.
that you don't want to show it to us?
Well, yeah, and they're like, you can't come up here street clothes and just like watch people. Like
True.
if you're here, you know, we're playing, and like
Either play ball or get off the field.
Yeah, like Trix is so cute. He brought his pajamas, like his, you know, flannel pants and stuff, like in a backpack, so he could wear pajamas to go up there. Cause like. You don't want to go naked. You're like, I'm not supposed to be here. Also, I'm by myself. Everyone here is in a couple. So, like, no one's walking around like, I
Not
don't
tonight,
know
they're
what
not.
I was doing. And then my idiot, like, I'm trying to do comedy, and I'm thinking, like, I'm just going to talk to the crowd. Like, this would be a great place for crowd work. We'll get so much information out of that. But it was like, no. First of all, fully lit conference room. You know,
I know those conference rooms.
and it's like
You know,
people are just sitting there with their tits out, but
I
like
was
it's
about
like
to say, I
don't-
didn't expect it to be fully lit in
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
I was
Fully
that.
lit is probably the freakiest thing. And I know it's a room full of people having sex with each other, but fully lit is probably the freakiest thing about that.
I was expecting candles and masks.
I was
No.
thinking like maybe there was like I was imagining maybe there was a crowd section and there was a spotlight on you and then just a bunch of silhouettes around the walls of people just like doggy style.
That would be. See, I need to bring you in as creative director next year because they got it all wrong.
Yeah.
It's fully lit. No one's fucking. They're all just sitting around, you know, circular tables like at a wedding reception staring at you. And then they deliver free pizza halfway through your set. So you're just like,
That happened.
happened
That
to
happened to
him.
me at Open Mic from Hell. Chris ordered these guys in the front row a pizza, and in the middle of my set, which thankfully, because my challenge was they sat this young lady on stage, and if I didn't make her laugh, the rest of the crowd got to boo me. So
Okay.
after like one didn't make her laugh and they booed me, it became more fun to boo than to give a shit about anything I said. And so in the middle of that, a pizza gets delivered and it's like a big thing. Like Chris kind of saves me from it. And then we go back to it out of respect for my time. And before we start again, I look at Ben and I go, all right, I'm just going to do, that was new stuff. I'm going to just do the classics. I'm going to do the classics. I'm going to get her. Watch, I'm going to turn this around. And I start doing like my opening joke, the cleanest one I have, like, and I just started eating shit even more to the point to where I did one of David's impressions that he had did before. Because I was like, what's going to make her laugh? And nothing
David
made him
Collette
laugh. It was
original.
terrible. It was so bad. I left before the show ended and everything. I'm pretty sure I did.
no.
Oh, man.
How do you, like, that, how do you turn that into a good experience, though? Because something like that should be really fun.
Yeah,
How
well, it's
does
fun
it-
to think about it now.
Yeah.
Like, it is hilarious.
In the moment, every open mic I've done, I want to kill myself as soon as my time has started. I'm like, why am I, like, I hate this. I don't
Open-
know how to make it good.
They should all be
Yeah.
naked.
Yeah.
I got a pretty like easy combo set. There's been a couple times on Open Mic from Hell where the challenge is just like a softball for me.
Yeah.
And this past week, Jennings was the Hellraiser, so the challenge I was the last person up, and there was 2 challenges left. So Chris said, do both of them, and it was the cat call where people in the crowd hit on you the whole time, and Southern Rock Star, which was a challenge that Jennings did. So I
Hell yeah.
just put on a countryer accent and really loud, and I did my regular jokes, and it did great. It did really well. And at the end of it, Ben was playing the Freebird guitar solo, and I did dual air guitars with Jennings.
Hell
And
yeah.
in the middle of my set for the cat call, some lady said, show us your tits.
Okay.
So after I get done with the air guitar with Jennings and they turn off the music, I like look at the crowd and I'm like, yeah. And we're both like, we're all screaming back and forth at each other. And I just lift up my shirt and I showed my tits to that girl. I like pointed at her. I was like, you. And I showed, it was awesome. It was
Nice.
amazing.
Hell yeah.
It was a great
Good.
way to round it out.
Good.
I wanna
I'm
go
so glad.
I want to go back to this orgy conference room that we're
Right.
talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm imagining it as like so were people actively having sex
No,
in that
no,
room?
no,
Was
no.
anyone getting a blowjob under the
No.
table?
Okay.
No.
So was it like a restroom?
Yes.
It's like where you go when you're all tuckered out from fucking.
Exactly.
You're there.
Well, and it's
There to compose yourself.
Well, look, okay, so it's like workshops during the day, like hand job workshops, blow job workshops, anal workshops, how to prepare for an orgy in your home workshops, like
Kegels.
and people are vending erectile dysfunction pills and
or people like
corsets and
selling stuff.
So it's like you're
handmade toys and benches.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's like a conference, it's actually educational and commercial. So then the comedy's at 10:30. The orgy rooms upstairs open at 11:30. So people are just coming in, killing time, waiting for their free pizza to fuel up before they hit the rooms. And my idiot ass, I'm like, how about you two? How long have you been together? And it's like, no one is giving me anything.
I don't know her.
Yeah.
And exactly, I didn't figure it out until way too late. I'm like, these people aren't together. They just met, or this is why everyone looks so happy. It's because this is not your spouse.
Yeah.
There's no couples in the audience.
And I'm like, at one point, I'm like asking who's been together the longest? And one couple from Alaska's 45 years, right? And then this other couple is also 45 years. And I'm like, oh, cool. You guys should sweat. And they're like, yeah, we already did.
Yeah, that's what we're
it's
here
Friday.
for.
We did that Tuesday. I was just like, oh my, it's nothing I could come up with would be
Those Alaskans were yesterday's news.
Exactly. I'm like, I wanted to go upstairs. I did. I wanted to see it. I was nervous and I didn't. Ryan went. He said he saw some things he can never unsee, like an old lady.
Yeah.
Just getting gang banged by 4 black guys.
Yes. Good for
Fuck
her.
yes.
And it's just I don't know why
Airtight.
that scares me. It's a fear of maybe I would like it too much, and then I don't know what that means about me. I'm just that's why I don't have a porn search history. I don't even know what to search for. I'd rather not know. I don't want to know what I'm actually into. I'm scared. I'm into one type. It's boys with J names that were born in June. That's all. And I know 4 positions, and that's fine. And we don't need to go any further past that, because what if
You're a very, very just straightforward. I like that. Some people, I think some people are overly sexual, and it's kind of getting weird nowadays. And
Yeah.
I'm liking what I'm hearing right now, that there's still people in this world that don't necessarily have to hawk to spit on that thing or anything like that.
Right.
Nothing crazy. It's just Jason doing missionary.
Ugh, not a Jason.
Not a Jason.
But also the thing about these couples is that the men were significantly older than the women, and I
Yes.
just have to think that the arrangement that I come up with is he has money, she's not really getting what she wants out of it. The agreement is she can fuck other guys and he can watch, and it's this cuckold thing, which I think is fine. I think that's good. I think that's healthy.
Yeah. You gotta, if you can't perform.
I'm glad you respect my lifestyle.
Which one are you though?
No, I'm not. I was just a kid.
He's the young girl.
Yeah.
He's the young girl getting plugged
Yeah.
airtight.
I'm getting plowed in front of my dad. No.
Okay, wait, I
No,
have a question though. You have brothers.
Yes, I do.
Did you guys ever jerk off together?
No.
Okay.
No.
You ever jerk off?
No.
Did your
With
brothers?
somebody? I don't have brothers.
No.
No. No, I do. I met someone that lived in a family of brothers, and he said that they would sit around, and it was a game to see who could come first, watching porn together.
I think with the advent of internet porn, it's become a lot more shameful.
Yeah,
Shameful.
I've definitely
It's a
watched
private
porn
thing
in the
you
same
do on a
room.
small
as-
screen.
When you're a younger kid, especially we all had iPhones. So my brother did show me like porn and where to find it.
Yeah.
But we never jerked off together.
Right.
But I've heard plenty of people talk about
Plenty of
that
people.
they have and did. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know like where the line is drawn of like that's weird or it's like that's natural. I don't know.
Become more weird because you have your phone, so it's so private that you don't. But like before, you would have like a disc where you'd be like, "Hey guys,
Yeah.
let's do this."
I got this from the DVD store.
Yeah.
Let's pop it in the one TV we have.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like one guy might have like he found his uncle's that lives at his grandparents' house still.
Yeah.
So he found his uncle's porn. I took it. We're gonna watch it in the basement tonight. And you don't get to see porn very often, so you don't give a shit what it is. You're gonna go sit in one of those
So
fucking
you're just sitting there with a boner,
humid corners.
trying not to.
Yeah.
go behind the
yeah.
couch if
When
you
you're
need to.
when you're a kid, like I heard a comedian say this before one time, and I think it's true. Kids are gay. Kids are gay in a way. Like
Yeah.
they're not ashamed to like a kid would like the Kevin Hart joke too, where like his son was grinding on the other kid that had on corduroy pants.
Yeah.
Like kids do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know any different.
Yeah.
It's just like animalistic nature to bump and grind.
I definitely grinded on my best friend in her treehouse.
Yeah. It's just what
We
happens.
never talked about it. But it's just our parts wanted to do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Me and my
Ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
Yeah.
first grade, I got in trouble for having dick fights in the bathroom.
Yeah.
We treated them like swords. What did you just write
School
there?
shooter vibes. Tally right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were y'all? It was just strictly sword fights, or were y'all docking?
No, sword fights.
Okay.
Stocking.
No, what we would do? No, what we would do is we would start at different corners of the bathroom, and then we would charge each other.
Jousting.
Yeah.
Cock jousting.
Docking,
But,
by the way, is
yeah, docking. It usually requires someone who is not circumcised,
Okay.
and you take the foreskin and put it over the head of the other guy's penis, like an International Space Station or some shit.
so they get all
That's
snuggly together
docking.
and they kiss.
Is that a kid thing or a gay thing?
No, that's a gay thing.
Okay.
I mean, it could be a kid thing, but that's definitely a gay thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Docking.
Docking.
Like a space station.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't see it having any real effect besides
how
it
do
just
you
looks
know
funny,
that?
but Urban Dictionary,
Urban
friends,
Dictionary.
like
Okay.
just life experiences, I guess.
Okay.
Getting it done to you.
Yeah, I've never done any docking myself. No, as everyone who's heard my first ever comedy joke knows, is that I did get circumcised when I was 14. So there was time for me to dock, but I never took advantage of the
Never took
opportunity.
Wait, that's true?
Yes.
So you got circumcised at 14?
Yeah.
Was it your choice?
Mm-hmm.
You felt like left out?
He's just
No,
very devoted
so-
to Judaism.
So when I was
Is
born,
that his joke?
yeah, this is the joke in form. Like I'm not going to tell it like the joke, but so when I was born, I had a birth defect. It's called a hypospadias. It's where the hole, my pee hole, it wasn't on like directly out the tip. It was on the bottom, kind of.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so what they did was they took like part of my foreskin, they wrapped it around the back and like redirected the hole. So
They
it
did that
was
surgery when you were born?
when I was like very little.
Wow.
And so that way it would be normal and or normal-ish. And then when I got older, I was like, well, it kind of looks weird because it did look like weirder than like a normal penis, like it really did.
Okay.
Not just because it wasn't circumcised, but there was like this weird flap at the front of my pee hole
Okay.
type thing, and it was like putting your thumb over a garden hose, kind of. It would make me like
Wow.
almost spray pretty much.
You had it on mist mode.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that?
It just looked like I peed really hard for my entire life up until I was 14, and I was like, I literally had this thought. I was like, well, I'm going to high school next year, like, and I've had some run-ins with ladies, you know what I mean? I don't want them to see it like this. I'd prefer it to look normal.
Thing that you would like be known for, and you'd probably have a nickname for, and like
What's up, cool dick?
people would be.
Well, so sometimes my friend Seth, he's the only one that'll still do it. He'll call me DD for deformed dick. And
That's not a creative one.
yeah, it's not because he made it up when we were like when it happened, pretty much. But like right after, because you have to explain yourself. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna tell them, like, dude, I had surgery on my dick, because that's like a fun thing to tell your friends. But like what I am proud of and what I am happy of, I don't really notice any difference sensitivity wise, mainly because I was still kind of a child back then. But in my humble opinion, out of all the cocks I've seen, I have a pretty nice looking one. Like it looks well fashioned. I think later in life I say let the kid keep it and decide when he's a little bit older whether or not he wants to take it off.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I like that. I want to go back to like fun. If we don't have to talk about this if you don't want, but fun activities you would do whenever from your heroin days.
Okay.
What other fun, like you're talking about daydreaming in cars? What other stuff would you do?
Any scrapping?
What's that mean?
Fighting?
Like scrapping metal.
No, because I was a very high functioning addict.
Okay. So you could hold down a job still.
I had plenty of jobs, and I was a straight A student. You know, you would just never.
You were a
have
student at
known.
the time?
Oh yeah, I was in
wow.
college doing my psych degree, and you know, I was just able to. I don't know. It gave me superpowers.
Yeah, you were.
I was doing everything.
Dr. Carl Hart.
Yeah.
From Brown University, he regularly snorts heroin by his fireplace.
What?
Well, that's the thing. I was only snorting it. I never shot it. Never used a needle.
Good.
But
That's how it gets you.
It just got to be such a it's got to be so expensive. I mean, it was no joke. It was like a $200 a day habit at one point, which was like at that point. Yes, I was working as a receptionist in a hair salon. And definitely stealing tips and like bucking with the numbers. Like I found ways to,
fueled it.
Crimes started to become committed.
Yeah.
But before that, it was really fun because I also didn't know it was heroin.
What did they tell you it was?
I thought it was Oxy, and like everyone was doing Oxy then, and like, I was so young that it just like gave me energy and. I don't know. I loved it. It just it gets to the point where like your body gets so used to it that when you don't have it, the feeling becomes worse and worse to where like it's you saw Train Spotting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that, when I watched that, like I really understand what he's going through. I mean, not to that point, but like the feeling of like it's just you can never get comfortable. You're sweating, you're freezing, you want to peel your skin off. You can't concentrate, you can't eat, you can't focus on anything. It's like it's amazing that something that makes you feel so good like takes you to this point that like you can't understand like the levels of horribleness that you feel, and then you're just like, well, now I can never stand this feeling, so now I need this like more and more. And it just happens like that. That happened within like 2.5 years, I would say. And then, my boyfriend at the time, he had moved on to crack, which I didn't know about. And if you can imagine, though, we're like nice looking white kids that are like in college, and he's like working for a landscaping company. I teach piano lessons to kids. Like we're
members of the community.
We're members of the community. But then, and I was like, we're just like crushing it right now. But then when it was like, oh, people are telling me like, he's actually sitting in the landscaping truck smoking crack, I was like, okay, this is not where I thought this was going. Like, this now really feels like...
We just wanted to do our heroin and have our fun.
Exactly. And sit in our make-believe cars and make up our make-believe lives.
Yeah.
But crack was freaky. And then it was, stealing. And then it was embezzling money. And then it just, like, crumbled. And so his plan was to steal the dealer's supply. Like, all of the heroin in this guy's apartment. And then do it all. And then, like, kill himself. Which, great plan.
Yeah.
Except I caught him before he died. Like, slumped in his car and called the police. And he ran, like, across 6 lanes of highway and tried to escape the police. But they finally caught up with him. And, like, got him into a psych ward. And I remember the police officer came up to me and she was like, so we're going to take him to the hospital. How long has he been doing heroin? And I was like, wait, that's what we've been doing this whole time? Oh, no.
Whoa.
This is bad. This is really bad.
That's crazy.
So then, okay, yay, he's alive. But Dad, he just stole all this dope from this, like, gangster named Pooh Bear who has, like, a fucking... he has a bullet, like, stuck in his cheek,
Jesus.
And, like... I'm just like the little like blonde girl that like comes with him sometime to buy it. So now they know what I look like and they can't get to him because he's in the psych ward. So I'm like driving like to college and all of a sudden I see Pooh Bear in the car behind me in this intersection. So now it's a high speed chase and I'm trying to get away from this guy.
My God.
And I'm thinking like I have an English exam and then like yoga and then like I have to teach piano lessons, but like I think I'm gonna die. Like,
I can't deal with Pooh Bear right now.
Actually gonna die right now. And I'm like, my parents are gonna be so pissed. They had no idea this was happening, and like I pulled into this apartment complex and I drove all the way to the back of it. And then I slumped down in the car. And then I peeked out and I could see he pulled in and he did one lap and he did another lap. And then he didn't come to the back lot where I was. He left and then like drove away.
Whoa.
And I lived to tell the tale.
Yeah.
Wow. Stressful way to find out you're addicted to heroin.
Exactly. And then like I got this like really wonderful experience where someone gave me a huge methadone pill.
Yeah.
And I just went to my parents' house in the country and I just took pieces of the methadone pill every day for like 10 days and got through the withdrawal. And then I was just like, well, that was fun. Not going to do that again.
That's such a white girl way to get off heroin.
Yeah, homestead. Homestead rehab.
Just living a little cottagecore fantasy for a little
Making
while.
sourdough.
I was literally sitting on a porch swing, like watching birds, just being like, okay, I think I'm going to choose a drug-free life and like, survive. And then I just moved to California because that's where all the weed was. So I just went from one to the other. And that's my whole thing is like, no matter how much I do of whatever I'm on, like it was never that. So like, I don't feel that bad.
Yeah,
I
the
guess.
withdrawal's not there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I did.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
I wouldn't recommend it because a lot of people don't come out of it, I mean, I luckily got to the point where I never prostituted myself. I did have to reach into this old man's pants to get the dope out one time. And I didn't touch his penis, but like it was pretty close.
Yeah.
And like the weirdest thing was that there was like a 3-year-old in a car seat, like in the back seat. It was like a Burger King parking lot.
Nasty
and I'm like,
old dude.
okay, I don't know. This is probably not a good idea.
The exact, very similar, almost exact same thing happened to a girl in my class in high school. She got out. She was the daughter of the tennis instructor, and she was playing tennis and stuff, all this high functioning stuff. Told her she was on Oxy, was heroin. 2 weeks later, the police are busting down because she's like asleep on the drug dealer's couch.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And what's the other? Requiem for a Dream.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen that.
Oh God.
Sad movie.
And it's like it's just about sad heroin addicts, and like the girl is just like this sweet girl, and like the moment that this huge scary dealer comes over and like she knows she's gonna have to let him do whatever he wants because she owes him so much money, and you're just like, oh, how did we end up here? Why are we choosing this for ourselves as an experience? It's a really rough one to have.
I'd much rather be in a cottage on the country.
I know. I meant like the unhoused people here who are just like hot, like frying in the asphalt.
It's terrible.
But like, how could you not be on drugs for that? Like,
Right.
you cannot
Right.
experience that sober. We can't even do our cush lives sober. Like, how
Right.
can we expect them to? I'm like, whatever you need.
Yeah, and then you come back to like your tent or your sleeping bag one day, and the city or the police has just like moved it all
Bulldozed it.
down and like threw it away or whatever. And then what are you really to do? Like, you've really got to do drugs then.
Totally. And I'm like, okay, we have all these like empty buildings, plenty of space. Like we could just be like, you're a human, you need a place to live. But it's like, nope, you guys don't get one because
Nope.
you did something wrong at some point, even though I don't know what it is. I'm just gonna assume it's your fault.
For the crime of being poor.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know how close we are to being at that point
Yeah.
right now?